In the heart of the Sahel, where the sun scorched the earth into cracked mosaics and the wind whispered tales of forgotten empires, a man named Abraham rose from the dust. Born to the Zama people in the shadow of the Songhai's fading glory, he was no ordinary son of the savannah. His eyes, sharp as obsidian, held the weight of 1,000 ancestors, and his voice carried the cadence of a war drum. By 1830, the land that would one day be called Niger groaned under the yoke of foreign traders and local tyrants, the greed carving scars across the dunes. Abraham, once a herder, now a warrior, would become the flame that burned their chains to ash. This is the story of Abraham's war, a saga of blood, honor, and a dream of unity in a fractured lands. Abraham was not born to lead armies. As a boy, he chased goats across the red earth, his laughter mingling with the bleating of his flock. But the world was unkind to dreamers. At 15, raiders from the north, clad in indigo veils, swept through his village. They left fire and death, taking his sister Amina as a prize. Abraham, hidden in a millet silo, swore vengeance on the stars that night, his tears mixing with the grain. He joined a band of warriors, learning the spear and the curved blade under the tutelage of old Kofi, a griot-turned-fighter who spoke of ancient kings like Sundiata. "A man is not made by his blade," Kofi said, tapping Abraham's chest, "but by the fire here." Abraham listened, his heart a furnace, and trained until his hands bled and his muscles sang. By 25, he was no longer a boy but a leader among the Zama militia, his name whispered in fear by slavers and bandits. The Sahel was a land of chaos. The Sokoto Caliphate pressed from the south, the jihad swallowing tribes. European traders, pale as ghosts, bartered guns for souls along the Niger River. Local chiefs, drunk on power, betrayed their own for gold. Abraham saw a truth: disunity was the enemy's greatest weapon. He began to dream not of vengeance, but of a free Sahel, a land where no child would be stolen under the moon. The war began in 1832, in a village called Gau's Rest. A French merchant, Monsieur Duval, had allied with a corrupt chief, Torre, to seize Zama lands for a trading post. They burned homes and enslaved resistors. Abraham, now leading a band of 50 warriors, struck at dawn. His men, clad in leather and wielding spears, moved like shadows. They freed the captives, burned Duval's wagons, and left Torre bound in the village square. Abraham spoke to the people: "No man owns this land but us. We fight, or we perish." Word of the raid spread like wildfire. From the Tuareg in the north to the Hausa in the south, tribes sent emissaries. Abraham welcomed them, not as a king, but as a brother. "We are one," he said, standing before a council of elders under a baobab tree. "The river binds us, not divides us." His vision was bold: a confederation of tribes, united against all who sought to chain them. Some scoffed, calling him a dreamer. Others saw hope in his eyes and joined. By 1833, Abraham's army numbered 1,000, men and women, young and old, armed with spears, stolen muskets, and unyielding will. They called themselves the Sarif al-Hurriya, the Free Blades. Abraham, now called general by his followers, planned not just battles but a future. He sent emissaries to distant tribes, promising protection for allegiance. He trained his warriors in guerrilla tactics, striking supply lines and vanishing into the dunes. The Sahel began to whisper of a man who could not be caught. The turning point came at the Red Gorge, a narrow canyon where the earth bled iron. The Sokoto Caliphate, enraged by Abraham's defiance, sent a force of 2,000 cavalry under Emir Yusuf. The emir's banners, green and gold, fluttered like vipers' tongues. Abraham, with only 800 fighters, chose the gorge as his anvil. "They come for our blood," he told his warriors, "but we'll give them stone." He divided his force: archers on the cliffs, spearmen in the shadows, and a small band to lure the enemy. As Yusuf's cavalry charged, hooves thundering like a storm, Abraham's decoys fled, drawing them into the gorge. Arrows rained from above, felling horses. Boulders rolled from the cliffs, crushed men. Abraham's spearmen emerged, striking like scorpions. By dusk, the gorge was a graveyard, Yusuf's army broken. Abraham spared the survivors, sending them back with a message: the Sahel is free. The victory made Abraham a legend. Tribes that once wavered now flocked to his banner. The Free Blades grew to 3,000, their campus city of tents and songs. Abraham, though, bore the weight of every death. At night, he prayed to his ancestors, asking if his dream was worth the blood. Amina's face, lost to him, was his answer. No war is won without betrayal. In 1834, a Tuareg chief, Malik, joined Abraham's cause, bringing 500 riders. But Malik's heart was divided. The French, desperate to crush the rebellion, offered him gold and guns. At a council in Timbuktu, Malik struck. His riders turned on Abraham's guard, blades flashing under torchlight. Abraham fought, his sword a blur, but was wounded, a dagger to his side. His lieutenant, Zara, a fierce Hausa woman, rallied the Free Blades, driving Malik's traitors into the desert. Abraham survived, but the betrayal shook him. He tightened his inner circle, trusting only Zara, Kofi, and a young griot named Issa, who recorded his deeds in song. The French and Sokoto doubled their efforts, sending spies and assassins. Abraham countered with cunning, spreading false plans to confuse his enemies. He moved his camp constantly, a ghost in the sands. The war's climax came in 1835, at Niamey, a trading hub on the Niger River. The French, allied with Sokoto and local chiefs, besieged the city, aiming to crush Abraham's rebellion. Abraham, with 4,000 Free Blades, fortified Niamey's mud walls. The enemy numbered 10,000, their cannons shaking the earth. For weeks, Abraham held the line. His archers harassed enemy camps at night. His engineers diverted the river, flooding supply routes. He walked among his people, sharing militant stories, his presence a shield against despair. "We are the river," he told them. "They cannot break what flows." On the 40th day, Abraham launched a desperate plan. Under cover of a sandstorm, he led 1,000 warriors through hidden paths, striking the enemy's rear. Zara's cavalry charged from the east, sowing chaos. The enemy, caught between hammer and anvil, broke. Niamey stood, and Abraham's name became a prayer. Abraham's war did not end the strife in the Sahel. The French and Sokoto retreated, but the greed lingered. Abraham, now graying, knew his dream of a united Sahel was distant. Yet he had planted a seed. The Free Blades became a symbol, their songs carried by griots across generations. Abraham vanished into the desert in 1840, some say to find Amina, others to join the ancestors. His final words, carved on a baobab, read, "Freedom is not won, but lived."